Hey Rabbits, it's Jade. Welcome to a special grounded video today. Take a look at this. This is a helicopter. And no, it's not coming to grounded, but it is in the game files. A big shout out to Spicy for supplying me with this code. So today's focus of the video is taking a look at something stupid like this and talking about what you guys want to see in terms of travel. I did do a video recently giving you my lowdown on what I really thought about the 1.0 update. And a bunch of you guys left some really good ideas, and a whole host of you really left a ton of comments about what you want to see added to Grounded in the future. So some of them I'm going to save for another day when we actually get the features board updated. But I did want to talk explicitly about fast travel and why I'm kind of a bit sad still that gliders never made it in, but there could be hope in the future. So leave a like, make sure you subscribe for the best in Grounded guides, gameplay and leaks. Let's go. So this is a helicopter. You can get inside it, but when I do, it will literally make me invisible and it doesn't actually work. You can't take off. Unless there's a button I've just not equipped, or maybe it never really got it worked. I could try one more time. Maybe it's just controller it doesn't work. Maybe there's some sort of keyboard key configuration. Oh no, okay, it didn't make me visible that time. I would absolutely lose my shizzle if it did actually work and it did make me go up in the air. I ain't gonna lie. But it's a fun little feature. Now, I vaguely remember the devs talking about something like this. I can't remember if it was when I did an interview with them and the Valheim devs. We got them to play each other's games for an hour each. I swear they kind of alluded to the fact that they had something like this in testing. Or maybe it was an interview I read that they had some sort of mini helicopter in testing that no one had ever seen properly. But how good would a helicopter be? A helicopter or even a helicopter be? To be honest, obviously this was cut content. As much as it might seem exciting, it probably would break the cadence of gameplay too much. The whole point is to get around the yard using the zip lines. At this point, I think we'll all just be thankful for getting the trinket that allows you to go up. Obviously, you know, we can get around going using these, but it's kind of annoying that you can't actually ever go up them. I did show this off the other day, of course, and the devs have kind of mentioned it now that it might be something they'll look at, but no guarantees. They did say this in the dev stream the other day. And yeah, if anything like this were to be added, it probably would be sometime. As you can see, the animations for this early version of it anyway certainly aren't working or fixed. And I'm guessing they might come up with something a bit more with the actual accessory itself, because when you look at it, it is just a zip line. So there's no real mechanic there for going up. So it needs to be, you know, most people's suggestion is some sort of pulley system. Or maybe you could literally sit there and tap the X button to go up higher, or the A button. And you see you can change directions on it as well. So yeah, it's clearly needing more work as a test item added to the game. But devs have said they're looking to add more little tiny bits to find in future hotfixes and stuff. And we know that they're going to be adding a whole bunch of other stuff, like obviously stuffed creatures and more hotfixes and quality life stuff. But that's not the focus today, it's about travel. So my biggest bugbear has always been having to build huge stupid towers everywhere just to get around the map a little bit quicker. One of the things they did talk about is they're still vying up the way to do either fast travel or some other ways to get around the yard. So this was all from their dev stream that Adam spoke on the other day. Again, no guarantees, no certainties, but saying that they've took on board feedback and they're looking at ways to maybe get around in the future. And then the other one was actual proper gliders where you could actually fly and go around instead of just the tufts. You might have got the special tuft that you get from chopping them down that gives just a bit of extra durability. It's called Tufty. But how good would it have been to actually have a proper item that you could glide around in? Not something that makes you go higher, maybe a tiny bit, but just prolongs it a little bit better. Like an actual proper hang glider, maybe made out of obviously something like the night bugs or mosquitoes. When the devs added these rocks that used to be inside this cage, I was absolutely convinced we would see more gliders. That coupled together with the fact that yes, there was something in the survival guide that mentioned about gliders rather than just glider. It was something I was kind of expected to see in 1.0. So I was a bit disappointed, but you know, I understand things get cut or things just don't work out, or it was just a load of rubbish made up pretty much by circumstance. But they obviously removed these rocks for a reason, and maybe that was due to feedback. Because I was kind of saying you can't really get up there unless you build something ridiculous. There's no way to climb here unless you use some sort of glitchy cheat using oak pieces or the acorn pieces. So yeah, it just felt like it was just a bit redundant having it up there. We know the devs are obviously loving a bit of parkour at the moment, but I know a lot of you guys are really frustrated by the vines. A few of you see it as a nice challenge, but a lot of it see it as kind of just a little bit overkill. Judging by the amount of comments I've had on the videos that I showed you guys how to get up to the mysterious pod up here. But wouldn't it have been cool if there was an achievement to glide from the tallest point in the yard? And although this might not technically be the tallest point, something like that where you could go around. The yard is pretty big, and in overall terms it doesn't take too long though to get across it. Equip some of the obviously aphid boots and you can absolutely whiz across, especially with the quickening mutation. So do we really need fast travel? Do we really need other ways? I think it should be some sort of reward towards the end of the game for sure. Or just like most games, you can obviously only fast travel when you find that point. The most common that you lot have been saying is obviously at the field stations. Hop to a field station and you can mysteriously teleport to another one somewhere in the distance. The only problem with that is, does it break the game quite a bit in terms of immersion and stuff? We do know from some of the files and stuff in the game, the one that you get from, spoilers, killing something at the very end, it does mention some new technology that could be coming. So that could be the excuse or the reason why we'd be able to teleport. We've already got some of the projects you can see from the data file that you get, and clearly they're in the yard already, like Project Alt, the Space-Art Replication, Embiggening Research, all that stuff is already in the game. Some stuff though we still don't 100% know, like the micro storage stabilizer, was that just a way to transport the kids? And then underneath it, the stuff that I think is going to come in DLC or the future. Dark Null Hypercore, what does that mean? And then the next one is probably the biggest one relevant. Rift Exploratory Squad. What if there is portals that you'll be able to utilise to get around the yard? Maybe build a portal stone or portal network. It sounds pretty snazzy. I think that would be something for DLC maybe in the future. And then obviously we've got the Humongous, a creature I guess we might fight in the future again in some sort of DLC or big update. My theory has always been about the crow and having the crow be something that will just pick you up. Back in the day, in the features board or the patch notes, they did say they would have more interactions with the crow, but that has never actually happened. We don't have any interaction with the crow whatsoever. I don't believe you can make him move, you can make him fly about. I figured maybe it'd be something like either fast travel or maybe smash him about so that hopefully he'll jump from one place to another and leave you some more feathers. I mean, that would be cool, Debs, if you want to add that in. I won't take credit for that one. You can keep that one. But it would be cool. Imagine if that was an animation. You could summon it, make a whistle, and it would be able to take you to places. But again, only places you discovered. One of the better comments I saw, though, was charge people some raw science. Once you've got every upgrade in the game, there are some cases where some of you guys have got quite a bit left over. Now, whether or not that's on purpose, or whether or not a brand new fresh save will have anything left over, I'm not sure. If you've got every bit of science on the yard, every mission completed, and then only just the rotating quests, how much extra science, raw science, is in the game? That's something that needs to be theory crafted. But yeah, what if it was like 100 raw science to fast travel? Make some sort of cost associated with it so that people wouldn't abuse or cheat or too much. It's there as convenience for people that want it. But yeah, it's something to think about. Like I said, it does break a lot of the gameplay factors. Part of the fun of Grounded is going somewhere to go and get something and running into a bad day because all weavers are going to attack you, or because some ladybird larvae jump out and you haven't bought anything fresh. The way that we get around the yards is also pretty kind of structured, i.e. in terms of completing the game. So having fast travel or even different things like gliders, I can see how it would probably break quite a lot of that immersion. That's why I think still zip lines are probably the best way to go, up zip lines at least. The other aspect is, would we really need one this late stage? Like, if we haven't got fast travel added now, is there much point in adding it to a game that you can complete and the story can be finished? A whole bunch of you guys have been saying that basically you've spent a good amount of time in early access, so once you've done this story, that's it, you're kind of done. Unless they obviously add a new expansion or some sort of update. I guess that's what's going to happen with something like a glider. Adams said they need a kind of reason. Their level designers basically said they don't necessarily think they want something that you can just use just for the sake of it. They want it to be a reason. How does it work with level design? Getting around the yard? Is it going to be too OP? So that says to me they could be working on maybe an expansion or an update that adds a bit of more verticality. Even verticality. I'm doing this early, people. I'm pretty tired today. And yeah, it's a case of maybe having it as a purpose, not just a luxury. The most obvious one could be something like inside the shed. It's a pretty tall structure. Imagine if there's a whole bunch of shelves in here that we need to go and access or get to. That could be something where we could potentially see the use of a glider more succinctly. And I know the big one is the house, but I feel like the devs have never really hyped up anything to do with inside the house. So there's a couple of videos that you guys gave a whole ton of comments on, the future plans and was 1.0 really good. A great idea, one of the ones that most liked, is I'd like to see elevators using pulleys added, also trapdoors with the ability to build a ladder down from them. It's from Lady Tiamat, and that sounds cool. It wouldn't necessarily get us around the yard any quicker, but it would be a nice feature. But given we've got ladders already, I feel like the ability to have elevators and stuff, it just probably wouldn't actually give us something different from what we've already got. But still a great idea, and it could be fleshed out more. And the most obvious one is being able to ride creatures. Everyone is obviously making the big references to riding creatures and stuff. Is there a possibility that we could turn grounded into a Ark simulator? And the bottom line is the devs have never really give concrete answers that mounting creatures would ever be a thing. They've kind of played along at a few Q&As at different PAX exhibitions where they've kind of said that, yeah, it would be cool to ride a roly-poly, but they've never alluded that it's going to be something they're working on. I've always kind of been a bit torn. So 1 minute I'm like, yeah, we should have mounting grounded. But most of the time I've kind of felt like we don't need them. If we do have mounts, does it then just become another Ark simulator where we're just running around collecting all different types of bugs and stuff, and that's becoming the focus rather than what the focus should be, which is the story, the base building and the exploration. It does sound cool riding around on a bee, and I've got a ton of thumbnails that I thought we would eventually be able to ride them and do stuff. But I guess that's the last part. Maybe not all creatures could be tameable, rideable. Maybe if it was only a few select ones, like a ladybird to help haulage, carry stuff around, like a roly-poly to get around a little bit quicker on the floor, rolling about, and possibly only one airborne creature like a bee. But they're all kind of pipe dreams. I don't think we're going to see anything added like that in Grounded in the next 6 months. And I really just don't think it's something the devs are going to add. So I don't think that's going to be something they'll do. So at the moment, the best bet is the upline, zip lines, maybe gliders in the future with DLC or some sort of expansion. And as much as I like the idea of certain things like pulleys, I definitely feel like that could be good with something if we had a bit more verticality to go around. So as exciting as a helicopter could be, it's definitely one of them prototype things that obviously were just a bit of fun from the devs. It doesn't really make enough sense in the complexities of the game. But yeah, I guess I'll answer it and ask it. Would you like to see something like this in Grounded? What do you prefer out of the choices I've kind of spoke about today? Gliders and up zip lines, tameable bugs, fast travel points, or actual helicopters? In fact, I'm going to do a poll. There'll be a poll up after this video with them answers. Go to my community tabs and let me know. And you never know, the devs might see it and they might get some ideas about what to add. Until next time, rat bags, I'll see you later for more Grounded news, guides and chatting. Laters.